Hi. When it comes to weight loss, there's never been a bigger need for an effective means of control than there is right now. We all know there's an obesity epidemic going on, and it's our society that's at fault, making sugar and all kinds of processed foods so readily available at so cheap a price. It's almost impossible to walk around without constantly being seduced by the easy availability of food. And the way that we've evolved, we're hardwired to pursue sweetness because of its evolutionary value. And so it's a real uphill struggle in our culture to retain the control that we need to be able to stay the shape that we want to be. And it is possible. When I work with people who need to lose weight, because they have lacked control in their past, not the people who are just putting on a few pounds over the years, as we all tend to do to a degree, because that's very easy to help. Just all I need to say for that is come and see a cognitive therapist, they'll help you. The main people that I'm particularly interested in are those who present where their weight has gone up and down over the years, very often in response to things that are happening in their life. They comfort eat, or they eat out of loneliness, or they eat because they don't feel loved, or for rebellion, all kinds of different emotional reasons. Because this is what I find, that most often people have an emotional attachment to food. So it's not the food itself they lack the control over, it's a symptom. They eat in response to how they feel in a particular situation. So, as an example, I had a client once who she could be really in control of her diet all the way through the day, and then at the evening she would overeat with pizza and sandwiches. And she was a single mother, not a great deal of support around her, so she was working independently but then sitting on her own once her child was in bed. And then she would feel lonely, and then she would find herself going to the kitchen and making pizza and sandwiches. And then she would eat them, and then she would feel bad and think, well, no one's going to want me because I'm fat. And then minutes later, she would be back in the kitchen making some more. And what I found was the root of this was that when she was a child, when she was in trouble and her mum withdrew her affection from her, she would send her to bed without any tea. And later, when her mum forgave her, the signal for being forgiven was she would walk up the stairs with sandwiches and a glass of milk. So savoury was forgiveness. Savoury was feeling loved. So now as an adult woman, she sits on her own feeling lonely and unloved, and her brain says, what do you do to get that feeling back? I know, you go and have something savoury. But of course it creates the opposite effect, because then it makes her put on weight, she feels less lovable in the eyes of other people, and that makes her go and eat even more. So it's a feedback loop that keeps dragging her down and down and down. And I could honestly give you 100 similar stories of how people reach for food to feel loved. How many parents reward children with sweets? They do it for rebellion. How many children have put on weight because their parents have been too controlling? It was the only means of release that were available to them. How many people have been lonely and have just had a big bag of crisps beside them as some kind of company? There's an emotional root, and because the brain is plastic, if you go to see a cognitive therapist, we have a range of tools that can help your brain relearn this relationship to food, so food just becomes what it's supposed to be, an energy source and a thing to enjoy under your control. It no longer needs to be a thing that drives your day or leaves you feeling out of control. And it really is quite a simple and straightforward thing for us to help you with. So please do contact a cognitive therapist and get started. And then we'll be seeing a lot less of you in the future. It's one of my favourite weight loss jokes.